Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first online workshop in this series. I'm Siddharth, Product Specialist IT Security Solutions at Manage Engine. It is my pleasure to have you all here. I hope my voice is audible and there's no glitch in viewing my shared screen. Please let me know if you have any difficulties. Today, I will be discussing on how you can use Event Log Analyzer to centrally collect Windows event log data. We'll also look at setting up auditing policy, configuring advanced audit policies, and why it is essential to prevent security attacks. As we all know, network security management doesn't stop with just monitoring Windows devices alone. We need to monitor other resources in the network, including Linux servers, network devices, and applications such as web servers, databases, and so on. Stay tuned with us every week to learn the tips and tweaks of collecting, analyzing, and monitoring log data from all these devices and thereby combating security breaches. As a part of this, next week we will be discussing on the tweaks and tips to collect and analyze syslog and application log data using Event Log Analyzer. But today, we will stick to collecting Windows event log data. Now, as I demonstrate on configuring the Windows device, you could also try out the tasks in your lab setup. Please let us know if you need any help. You can post your queries on chat and we will try to answer them right away. So let's get started with adding Windows host for monitoring. Alright, so in the host tab, you can click on the plus host icon, or alternatively, you can click on the add drop-down menu in the top right corner and click on host. This will take you to the add new host page. Here the first field is the host type, which you have the options like Windows, Unix, Cisco device, syslog device, and IBM AS400. But like I told, today we are going to stick with Windows devices, so keep the host type as Windows. Next, in the host name field, you can key in the Windows device that you wish to monitor if you know the name of the device. Alternatively, Event Log Analyzer provides you with two options to add multiple hosts in bulk, namely the pick host and import host option. When you want to add multiple Windows hosts that are part of a particular domain or work group, you can go for the pick host option. When you click on the pick host option, it opens the pick host window as you can see. We select the domain or work group, which is workshop in this case. This will list out the list of Windows devices in that particular domain or work group. You can select the Windows devices by checking the checkbox or going for the select all option, or in case you have a large number of devices in the work group, it is useful to use the search option to pick your Windows device. Once you have selected the Windows device from the pick host option, click on update. There you can see that it has been added now to the host name field. When you have a text or CSV file that lists all the Windows device names, you can go for the import host option. When you click on import host, it will open the import host window. Here you can click on choose file and browse your PC for the CSV or text file that contains the list of Windows devices and then click open. Now click on import to add the Windows devices in the host name field. Just as the pick host option, you can either individually check or uncheck the Windows devices or go for the select all option, or in case you have a large number of devices, you can use the search option. Once you have selected the host for monitoring, click on Import Host. There, as you can see, the host name has the list of Windows devices that we have added using the pick host and import host options. Next is the group host field, which is a highlighting feature of Event Log Analyzer that allows you to group hosts for generating specific reports and alerts for the particular group. For example, say the hosts listed now belong to an application server and we need to group them together. By default, Event Log Analyzer provides you with the Windows group and Unix group. You also have the option to create your own custom group. To do so, click on the plus icon and key in the name, say application servers, and click OK. Now, all the hosts listed in the host name field are grouped together under the host group application servers, and you can generate specific reports and alert profiles exclusively for this group called application servers. Next, you need to enter the domain admin credentials. Enter the login name and password. Once you enter the login name and password, click on Verify Login. As you can see, in a matter of simple 2-3 steps, we can add bulk number of Windows devices for monitoring. I will quickly repeat the steps once again. The first is to add the host type, select the host type, which is Windows in this case. Next, in the host name, you can either enter the names of the hosts separated by a comma if you know the name of the host, or for the case of bulk addition, you can use the pick host or the import host option. Once you have done that, you have the option of grouping them into a particular host group as we have done now for application servers. And then all you have to do is enter the domain admin credentials, the login name and password, and click on Verify Login. Once you have done this, click on Save to add these Windows hosts for monitoring. Now you can try to do the same in your setup. Please let us know via chat if you need any help and use the hand raise option to let us know that you are done. I hope you're all trying to do the same in your lab setup. Please let us know via chat if you need any help and use the hand raise option to let us know that you are done. So I see most of you have given the hand raise option. So we've now added the Windows host for monitoring, but our task doesn't end here. Even though we have successfully added the host for monitoring, we aren't going to get the logs to generate the reports that we need. We need to specify to the system on what type of information it has to collect by configuring the audit policies for security events. Configuring an audit policy that records deviation from normal security policy is very important when it comes to the detection of security breaches. Audit logs give you the indicators of compromises such as the installation of malicious programs, escalation of privileges, changes on permissions, and so on. And when it comes to forensic analysis, they also contain valuable information about the breach, such as like how it occurred and what types of systems were affected. By default, all the security events are not automatically audited, and we need to change the audit settings to specify to the system what are the events the system must log. It would seem that the easiest way would be to enable auditing for all security events, but that's not a wise idea. If you collect and review audit logs for all security events, the system generates lots of data. It also takes up loads of space on your computer, being a resource-intensive task, eventually decreasing the performance of your machine. Further, they also take up the time and effort to analyze huge amount of log data. So, it is better not to audit events that don't really interest you. So you can understand that setting the audit policy is important and that we need to audit specific events of interest. For example, when it comes to network intrusions, we try to track attempts of unauthorized user accesses and failed audits. And when it comes to anomalous behavior, we configure the audit policy for system events and track those logs. Now I will show you how to configure the audit policies, and you can try checking the configuration of your system in parallel. You can also do so at the end of this demonstration. So to configure the audit policy, go to Run and key in gpedit.msc. This will open the local group policy editor, as you can see. On the left pane, under local computer policy, expand the Windows settings folder. Under this, expand the security settings. Under security settings, expand the local policies folder and click on audit policy. As you can see in the right pane, we have 9 different kinds of events that we can audit, and we can see whether the auditing is set or not under the security setting. For example, the logon event will track the logon and log off events. The process tracking would track the program activation and process exit. The account management policy would cover the tracking of user account creation, deletion, change of password, and so on. The privilege use will track the user accessing a user right. The system events would cover the restarts, shutdowns, etc. So you can right click on the event that you want to audit and click on properties. So let us try it for auditing object access. Once you click properties, you can specify whether we need to audit the success or failure attempts for this event or both. You can also choose not to audit this event by unchecking the success and failure boxes. So in the case of object access, we know that the object access would track the users accessing objects such as files, folders, registers, and so on. So here success audits would generate an audit entry when a user successfully accesses an object, while failure audits generate an audit entry when a user unsuccessfully attempts to access an object. So let us turn on auditing for both success and failure for object access and click on apply. And then click OK to apply the settings. So now you can see on the right pane that the audit object access has been set for auditing for both success as well as failure attempts. Please note that the security setting is set to no auditing by default. I will quickly repeat myself on this. So once you open the local group policy editor by keying in gpedit.msc on run, you expand the local computer policy folder. Under that, you expand Windows settings. Under Windows settings, you expand security settings and double click on the audit policy folder, where on the right pane you can see 9 different types of security events that we can audit, and by right clicking the event and clicking properties you will be able to set the success and failure for auditing for that particular event. You can also further narrow down the auditing of events in each of these 9 categories using the advanced audit policy settings. The advanced audit policy settings allow you to exclude the behaviors in each category that are of no concern to you or that create an excessive number of log entries. To configure the advanced audit policies, click on Advanced Audit Policy Configuration folder and under this click on the System Audit Policies. This section breaks the 9 events that we saw into 53 behaviors, and you can click on any of the events and granularly set the audit policies for the specific behavior. For example, if you just click an event, say account logon, you can see subcategories on the right pane such as credential validation, Kerberos authentication service, and so on. Similarly, for the rest of the events, if you click them, you can see the subcategories and granularly configure the auditing. For instance, auditing of non-sensitive privilege use is of little concern to us because they provide information that are mostly used for operational and troubleshooting purposes. Also, the event volume is very high and hence it would accumulate a lot of unwanted log data in our system that doesn't actually value add to our security policy. However, you cannot opt to not audit the privilege use event as they may turn off the auditing for the sensitive privilege use event auditing as well. And here is exactly where the advanced audit policy setting comes in handy. Using this setting, we can audit the sensitive and other privilege use events and turn off the non-sensitive privilege use event auditing. So for example, assume that you're handling a file server where changes made to the file server are critical from a security perspective. In this case, we want to audit the sensitive privilege use, that is when a user makes a request to the OS for a privilege use, whereas we can continue to not monitor the non-sensitive privilege use, as that would just generate massive amounts of log data which have no security consequence. So to do this, you can see the three subcategories. Simply right click on the subcategory, go to properties, and now we are unchecking the success and failure for the non-sensitive privilege use. Once you do that, click on apply and OK to apply the settings. So now you can see we are continuing to monitor the sensitive privilege use and other privilege use events, but we are not configured to audit the non-sensitive privilege use. Also note that when you make a change to the advanced audit policy configuration, it will override the changes made in the local policy. I will quickly repeat myself on this. So under the advanced audit policy configuration, you can see the 9 events that we discussed, and we can granularly set the auditing for each of those 9 events. So once you click on one of the events, on the right pane, you can see subcategories of those events. And we saw in the case of privilege use, we have the audit non-sensitive privilege use, audit other privilege use events, and audit sensitive privilege use. So we've decided to not configure the non-sensitive privilege use since it doesn't have much security consequence, and we continue to generate auditing for the privilege use events as well as the sensitive privilege use events. So now try your hands on setting up an advanced audit policy in your lab setup. I hope you are trying out setting up the audit policy on your system. Remember that it is important to set the audit configuration so as to inform to the system on generating the logs for the specific events of interest depending on your needs, such as operational or troubleshooting or security needs. Please try this out and let us know if you have any queries. We'll try to answer them right away. Please let us know once you have tried to configure the auditing policy on your system using the hand raise option. Any questions that you have regarding the best practices of configuring audit policy will be answered on chat. So a quick recap of what we saw today. We've successfully added Windows host for monitoring and also configured the audit policies and advanced audit policy settings so as to optimize the security events auditing. Next week, we will explore more about configuring and collecting log data from syslog devices and applications. We will also look at the log analysis of the in-house applications log data using the custom log parser. Thank you for your time and patience, and thank you very much for participating in this workshop. If you have any queries or concerns regarding the workshop, we'll try to answer them right away. But don't worry if they're left unanswered. We'll ensure that the queries are clarified offline. Thank you and have a nice day.